welcome to the Pizza Marketplace podcast. I'm Mandy Detwiler, editor of Pizza Marketplace, and I'm here today with Mary Jane Riva, CEO of Pizza Factory. MJ, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
Well, first, let's talk about the origin story of Pizza Factory. How did the company get its start? I know that you founded it. Is that right?
No, that is not correct. I actually
Okay.
didn't found it. The founders, it was back in 1985 because we're celebrating our 40th year this year.
Okay.
The founders started it back in 1985 in two small towns in California, right outside Yosemite. One was Mariposa and one was Oakhurst. And they had the brand. And then my husband and I came on as franchisees in 1990. And we opened up stores in Southern California, a total of about 5. Then I was a little bit on the corporate team on the marketing team and an area developer. 2012 is when the founders came and said, we're ready to leave. Would you and Bob like to buy the company? So that's when we became franchisee / franchisor.
Okay. Now, you buy this company. What was it about the company as a franchisee and as a franchisor that you loved about this company?
As a franchisor, I had no clue because it was a brand new thing for me. As a franchisee, you know, the culture of Pizza Factory is so much about community and it's individuals coming in and being able to work in a town or a city. It could be really small. Some of our stores are in really small towns. So it allowed people that wanted to be self-employed and live in a small town to actually be able to accomplish that. And it just was an opportunity. It was just really cool the way the stores were in different areas and how the product was made completely in the individual stores. We don't commissary. It's no frozen products.
Great.
Everything's made hand-tossed dough. There was a lot of things that we liked about it. But from the franchisor coming on there, then it was like, okay, what would I like to see that I didn't see as a franchisee? So that's where then that hat kind of was split between franchisee, franchisor.
Gotcha. Well, what makes Pizza Factory unique compared to other pizza restaurants? I mean, it's a pretty saturated market out there. So what's going to make you guys stand out?
One, the community for sure. I know a lot of people are in communities, but we're really, really, really into our communities because we connect directly. Our franchisees are owner-operators. So it's not like it's somebody off in another state. They're actually living in that town, so they make those connections. But our product we're really known for our crust and our sauce because we do hand toss our dough, which really does make a difference on how your pizza tastes. And we just have, like I said, everything's fresh. We cut our vegetables every day. We make our meatballs from scratch. Everything is just made on the premise.
Gotcha. Well, how does Pizza Factory ensure quality and consistency across all of its locations? That's something that a lot of pizzerias wrestle with. How are you guys dealing with it?
That is definitely a good question, and you are correct. Everybody wrestles with that. As soon as you get that human element in it, you can see variations happen. So we have processes just like everybody does, menus and so on, but what we're trying to do is have a little bit more education for the employees on the site and give some more videos for them to be able to access to see exactly what the end product's supposed to look like. We offer training that's free to our franchisees and their managers. We do it in Fresno and we allow them to come there free to brush up or to send their manager to learn how to do the products there again. So we offer that. And then the most recent thing that we've done, which is a little off for us, but we took our pizza sauce and because our pizza sauce, our dough, and our meat sauce, those in particular, we have a certain seasoning that goes into them. It's what makes us really stand out. And if you add too much water or you don't stir, all those things can really change, especially if you're a cook, this, getting those flavors to marinate and to really mesh. And sometimes in a restaurant, they go too fast. So we took our pizza sauce off site and we've had that now put in. It comes prepackaged into the store instead of the employees making it. So now we have a very consistent, which is such a crucial part of the pizza as a sauce. It's very consistent now. So those are one of the things, as well as measuring and different different tools like to make sure that the guest experience, that's the most important, the guest experience is consistent. Weights and measures have been put in place.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk a little bit about something that's pretty exciting for you guys. You guys were just acquired by Wonder Franchises. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and why.
After 12 years, it came to a point where I knew that it was time to bring on some extra resources, another set of eyes, and bring on that support system that I felt that as an office and for the franchisees, it's really, we are the steward of the brand, and the franchisees are who we work for. And I felt that it was time to bring on just another set of eyes, like I said, and some other ideas and youthfulness and all that stuff, and say, okay, it's changing so much out there with digital and social media and all these things going. It's such a fast, rapid change in the restaurants for everybody. So bringing them on was one of the ways that I felt we could help support the franchisees better, as well as accelerate growth. The process started, I actually started it probably about a year ago, looking for I took on a group that helped me find the right people. So the reason why Wonder was the one that actually made the cut was their approach to culture and looking at Pizza Factory for what we are. And they didn't come in with, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. They asked all the questions about who we are and how they could improve our already existing systems and what they could add. So that meant a lot to me, because the franchisees, our franchisees in this case have never been with anybody except the founders and then another franchisee. So this was never anything they had been exposed to, of having another company or another group come in. So it was really important to me that it wasn't all suits and ties and a big corporation, that it was going to be well received by the franchisees as well.
Right. How will Wonder Franchises getting involved benefit the brand?
Oh my gosh, it's fairly new. They've only it's only been about a month now that we actually closed the deal, and my husband and I we're still part owners in the company, so that was another good thing, is that we got a little bit of skin in the game, as they say.
Right.
But which helped the franchisees as well to know that the team was staying there. We weren't changing out the team or anything. Everything was staying the same. But this last month has been really, honestly, so exciting. And I am learning so much. The team is learning a lot. Adam and Cass are the two that we work with Wonder. And they're absolutely such a pleasure to work with. And that is always a fear. You hear the horror stories I have, and I was like, oh my gosh,
right.
what am I doing here? What if this is a mistake? And I am absolutely enjoying what they're bringing and what they're showing us, and how they're already showing us ways to improve. And it's really behind the scenes. They're not too much with the franchisees. It's really helping us become better support group for the franchisees. But they're just amazing. Like I said, they're young, they have different ideas, and they just are bringing stuff that we hadn't thought of, and improving what we already have.
Right. I think that's something that really helps when you bring in new blood.
Yeah.
How did they, or what changes or improvements can franchisees and customers expect under the Wonder Franchises ownership?
Well, one thing they will definitely not see, and that's a change to our product. We're not going in there. We're not going to all of a sudden start changing our product. That was never something that Wonder saw. We've been around for 40 years. You don't come in and start changing the product. But what they are
right.
doing is looking at all our programs, all our processes. Really, the processes are probably one of the bigger areas of us working as a team and seeing how we can really hone in. And because it's not about just adding new locations, we really want to see how we can serve our existing franchisees better and help them to become more profitable, and just see what we're missing. I mean, we've been doing it for a while, but you never have all the answers. There's always other ways and other things that you might learn, and that's what they're bringing to the table. So it's really exciting, because the processes they're putting in are just going to help us to accelerate our support for the franchisees.
Do you personally worry about losing that personal touch that
Absolutely.
you do worry about that?
I worry about it, but let's put it this way. I worried about it. I don't worry about it as much anymore. That's why the Wonder Group was important for me, to make sure they understood that this brand has been around for 40 years for a reason. And when you start messing with some of the recipes, so to speak, and it's not just the food, it's the community, it's how our franchisees are, like I said, they're owner operator. We're not a brand that has a lot of multi-unit operators. These guys are husband and wives in a small town where their kids, and they're running their store. So yeah, it was really important to me, to make sure that was very understood by Wonder, and that's part of what they liked about our brand. We just had our 40th, and just 2 days ago we had a special event at the Monterey Aquarium, and we had all the franchisees there where they met Adam and Cass, but we also celebrated 40 years. And the franchisees, I got more positive emails and texts back going, okay, we met them, we get it, these guys are good, we like them. So it was, and because it's like, I've been with Pizza Factory since 1990. Nobody wants to see it change. So it was really important, but I'm just really excited, and I feel 100% that they're going to do right by the brand, and I'm still here, and so's the team. So we're going to all be watching.
So you're celebrating your 40th anniversary of franchising this year. How does that milestone align with the timing of the acquisition?
There wasn't any correlation with that, if that's what you're asking. It was actually when we, last year about this time was like, oh, wow, next year's our 40 year. Let's have a celebration. That's a big milestone, especially because some of our franchisees have been in it for 40 years. So it's not, and that's the other thing that's great about our brand. Our franchisees have been in this for 35, 40 years. We had, I think, 15 there at the event that we celebrated, that they have hung in there that long. And anybody in a restaurant knows that doing that for 40 years is quite an accomplishment. So we were able to share that experience with them and say, hey, this is where we're going now. So it wasn't tied into the acquisition. It was more of an add-on. Here we're celebrating what we've done for the last 40, and this is what we're looking at going forward.
What excites you the most about joining the Wonder Franchises family, and what do you see is the biggest opportunity for Pizza Factory in this new chapter?
Oh boy, when you say new chapter, that opens up a can of worms for me, because I think the restaurant industry as a whole, as we know, is going through a lot right now and has been for the last year. So that's on everybody's mind. AI, technology. What I see with Wonder coming on is their experience and their knowledge of all these other tools. So I see that as something that, it's not that we're going to embrace it and do it necessarily, but we're going to be able to utilize those parts that do fit for our culture to keep us on brand with what's going on out there. But mostly I just really see Wonder coming on and adding a lot of energy and just bringing some great outside resources that they have accessibility to that we don't.
How does the acquisition position Pizza Factory within the competitive pizza franchise space? Talking about franchising.
I think that remains to be seen. Obviously growth is on the forecast for us too, to grow and have more stores. So as far as I don't ever look at us in this, good, bad, or otherwise, but I always look at putting the bar set for ourselves, not with what others are doing. So I more look at how can we improve us as a brand outside of what everybody else is doing. The hope, of course, is that we grow and we can share what we have with other cities, other towns within our areas that we're in now, but also explore the rest. But it's going to take time. But mostly it's just how can we be better and make our franchisees, get them through all the things that are going on in the world right now.
Gotcha. What will your role and the existing leadership team's involvement look like post-acquisition?
For me, I'm staying on as CEO for at least the unforeseen future. Whatever that is going to be, it remains to be seen, but I'm still CEO. I'm going to be, hopefully, that's one of the goals, is to really tighten up the team that we do have. Everybody's still staying, everybody's there, but it's tightening us up in our roles and making us all just rise up and lift us up to a higher level of what we're already doing. But for me, in particular, it's hopefully going to pull me out of some of the things that maybe I've been involved with and put a little bit more focus on some areas that I should be in, and having that support. If there's anybody out there that is at the lead and the head part of CEO, whatever, it can get kind of lonely sometimes, because you're at the end and you either have mentors, you have people that you can, but that's it. Now I have some resources that are, I feel like, coaching me and that are alongside of me, even though they're half my age, but they're teaching and showing me stuff. And that support means a lot when you're at the top and you feel like, there's just you at the end, and that pressure and that responsibility is very heavy.
Right. Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the future. Are you all opening any stores this year? Can you tell us anything?
We just opened up a store in Paradise, California.
Great.
And that was the store that or the town that most people know that was completely burned down about 5-6 years ago. Maybe it's 7. So that was our newest store that we've opened. Getting ready to open up another one in Jackson, California. We've got a couple more that haven't found sites yet, but our goal is to keep growing, and within the states that we're in right now. For a lot of reasons, between distribution, marketing, it helps everybody to have more volume of stores. So that's what our goal is. But we've got a few things coming down the pipeline. And for the 40th year celebration, we're giving 40% off our franchise fee. And then we've got
That's
some
fantastic.
I know, and 4 months
Yeah.
no royalties, and then it's 8 months of a reduced royalty. So we've got some great deals out there going right now. We're excited about what the future's going to be.
Come join the family, right?
That's right. Come join
That's
us.
right. Well, I guess my last question that I like to end with is, if you were talking to a brand new franchisee or someone thinking about getting into the franchising business, what would you tell them?
Probably the thing we're telling everybody these days when we do our discovery days, if you think it's going to be difficult to run a restaurant, double that. That you always, your expectations of what you think it's going to be. It's hard work. There's no getting around it. You have to be in it for the long haul. But there's not too many things in life that you don't have to work really hard for. And the restaurant business is definitely a business that it's rewarding, it's fun, it's stressful, it's all those things rolled into one. But if you're willing to put in the time, boy, just seeing your employees and knowing that, for us, the reward of seeing 16, 17-year-old kids come into your store and know that that's their first job, and they come back 10, 20 years later and say, boy, you taught me a lot. There's a lot of reward you get from being in this
Absolutely.
industry. That's more than just the pizzas and the dollars.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, MJ. This has been great. We wish you guys all the luck with the acquisition. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That'll do it for this episode of the Pizza Marketplace podcast, and we'll catch you next time.